live. All right. Hi, everybody. Hopefully everybody can see this. I don't know when you're going to pop on later if you are Charles Latora, but you are 100% correct in regards to the fact that I guess the amount of stuff that gets talked about in this live stream is way more than 1 hour's worth, that's for sure. Hello, good morning, William Arends. Hello from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. William Arends says, great to see you, William. Yeah, I was just mentioning that that last week Charles Latora was had said that potentially try to make maybe the live stream go a bit past 1 hour or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe once in a blue moon. But one thing and he's right, I was just looking at the list of stuff that I want to talk about, and this is not even including the Calandale playthrough. And today the Calandale playthrough is 22 minutes long. Oh, good morning, or good evening, good night, I guess, Dirk D. Good afternoon from Gippsland, 11 p.m. Here, he says. And good morning, Charles Latora. I was just actually talking about you, Charles Latora, about some comments that you had made last week. Concerning that potentially maybe making the live stream longer than 1 hour. And I was just looking at the stuff that I have listed out here, and we're not even looking at Calandale's playthrough yet. I wanted to, actually the first thing I do want to talk about, I might as well nail this right off the bat. Dirk D mentioned in one of my one of the video comments there, what do I do with Leo and the table? I'm okay as long as I don't put the table too close to this little window thing. You can't really see it here because he'll hop onto the couch and then hop on. Good morning, Meandering Mike. Meandering Mike says, greetings, everyone. It is super nice to see you guys. I'll tell you that much. And I can't remember the person who made a comment in one of my videos earlier in the week, just talking about community and whatnot, and I did mention to him that I just never assumed. I mean, I'm such a loner, and I just did not expect this unbelievable bonus of being able to communicate, like to be in a community. I just did not think I'm not saying I needed that. But I'm just absolutely blown away that I feel a bit more, I think I mentioned to him, a bit more complete. I don't know if that's the word, or a bit more whole. There's another side of me that seems to be allowed to now be expressed. It's fantastic. Anyways, like I was saying, Charles Latora, about your comments from last week about maybe trying to make the live stream longer than an hour. I doubt that's ever going to, well, it's going to happen maybe once in a blue moon, but not very often. And I was thinking, my God, I was just like, okay, this is the stuff I want to talk to. We're already 3 minutes in. Oh yeah, the Jesuan cat. That's what I want you to take a look at, Dirk D. If you want to see a cat that you're going to go, oh my God, what's going to happen? You will see, you just look up Jesuan. He's on YouTube. For me, personally, he is the ultimate of ultimates. For me, that's just for me. For throwing out gameplay YouTube stuff. William Arends says you are building a small YouTube community. Well, good Lord. You guys are the people. That's the reason, man. Anyways, Jesuan to me is like the ultimate. I'm just like astounded by this person, what he can do with gaming. Anyways, you will see his cat walk across the game board, and you're just like, oh my Lord Jesus, jumping. Don't do this. And yeah, the cat just goes right by, and it's like some Zen cat or something. It's just amazing. But anyways, we also okay, so we've got the History Heroes trivia to talk about. Poetry month is this month. Dirk D says, I could never leave games on the table as the cats would always jump up and sleep on the board. Then we moved it, and the cats are out in the garage. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Well, the other, on the side note, I always have to make sure that the if I've got any overhang for my table, Leo won't pull. But yeah, I'm lucky. You're right. I'm very fortunate because I don't have kids or a zillion other things I have to worry about. Like, for example, Charles Latora has mentioned a few times in his videos that his granddaughter, wants to express herself as a gamer. That's the way I'm going to put it. I'm not going to say as she's messing with his stuff. I think she's just trying to say to him, I want to be a gamer. I want to be a gamer, Granddad. That's it. So anyways, this month is Poetry Month, and it's going to connect in with the Second Battle of Ypres, which I wanted to talk about, which starts today in 1915. And I also, like I said, I wanted to connect it with the Second Battle of Ypres and Artois for the Weltkrieg scenario, and I really want to discuss this with you guys because I think it's yes, Meandering Mike mentions Jesuit, and that's it. You got to see this guy's cat; it's just freaky. What was I going to say? So I found like you can. Anyways, I mean, you'll see the battle is really tiny, but yet I mean, obviously. The map scale is not conducive for that type of battle for Weltkrieg. So how does Dave Schroeder deal with that? Does he deal with that or whatever? And I mean, I would so love, I just didn't have time. I would so love to find out about games that potentially are a little bit more specific towards the Second Battle of Ypres. That'd be totally cool. Especially when I found out about William Arends as a fellow Canadian, that the Canadians were instrumental in that battle. And one of the things was the counterattack in Kitchener's Wood. That I think when I was watching the Great War channel there for that week, he mentioned that years later, General Foch said that counterattack by that Canadian battalion was the finest moment in the entire war. I was like, holy F. And supposedly, I think 1 out of every 3 soldiers was injured or killed in that battle. And 2 days previous, I think, was 1 out of every 4 Canadians were injured or killed. So it was not a fun time. We'll get to that in a minute. Then I still wanted to talk about the chapter 2 of Africa, the Cameroons, things that I found out about or not found out about. What I'm trying to say in the long run, Charles Latora and everybody else, is that when the Calandale videos end, and there's only 8 left. William Arends, Canadian resident, USA citizen. Sorry, William Arends. Automatic assumption. Well, you're Canadian now. Anyways, you've been here long enough. And you seem to always be yabbering on about the weather, which is, as you know, is a typical Canadian thing to do here. That's going to leave a gap when the Calandale videos are gone, regardless if they're only 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So, and we've got more than enough information, more than enough material to talk about. Because yet again, like I said, I'm not very good at checking comments. And that's another thing I certainly want to get you guys into is more to engage more in the sense that's right off the bat. I want to find out what do you guys have on the table, what are you playing, what are you thinking about it, as well as when I started was it last week, I was blown away. All of you guys knew more about Africa than I did, and part of me was like, what the hell, I'm the one with the book here. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Everybody seems to know all about Togoland and so on and so forth. I was like, this is awesome. That type of stuff. So, for example, I know that Dirk D is playing the Tannenberg game with Decision Games. Charles Latora just finished up painting a ton of skeletons and rabbits. He's slowly getting back into the African campaign. Meandering Mike has been doing, Attack on Fort Jefferson, I hope, or something like that. The title is. He loves the company. It's all. I haven't seen the playthroughs yet, but I watched the boxing and the beginning bits. So, anyways, we've got all that stuff. Is what I'm saying. It's going to fill up quite a bit of stuff. Okay, so here we go with the first bit, which is the History Heroes trivia. And I think this one, yet again, just for people that don't know, you just get 1 point right off the bat for even guessing. Dirk D says, finished Tannenberg, disappointed. Got breakout Normandy up. Oh, good. Good that you're disappointed. No, but good that you went through it, because I'd love to talk about it afterwards and find out what you found out about what was disappointing about it, because I enjoyed quite a lot of the aspects of it. I really enjoyed the way artillery had to be moved about and supplied. I like the core HQ's aspect, and I liked the fact that it was just the Russian Second Army. You know, it wasn't the whole, like, it really was just like the Battle of Tannenberg thing. I thought that was kind of nice. Okay, so here we go. I'll pop in the banner because I've already popped them in there. So the first one, and then like I said, I'll also pop it into the comments. I can't. I'm not very good at pronouncing, so some of you guys may be able to pronounce this pretty darn good. But here goes the first comment. I was a sepoy in the 129th Duke of Connaught's own Baluchi, sent to fight in World War I. And I'll go and I'll pop it in the comments too. Hold on here. So remember I said you even get 1 point just for even guessing. All right, I'll put back the comments. And then I'll put it in there. All right. There. So that's your first one. And now I'm going to go to, what do I want to talk about? A bit of the week that was. And one thing I keep forgetting to mention is that is the political aspects. And it's kind of difficult. Sometimes I'm like, well, how in the world am I going to pop this on the map or the situation map or whatever? Maybe I won't too. And there's another thing I was thinking about right now in the interim until the gap needs to be filled when the Calandale videos are finished, is that some of the stuff that I'm maybe not able to get that I'd like to discuss or throw the information out towards you guys is maybe put them in the community tab later on, or some kind of like you know, at the end, like, I don't know, what do you call it, an addendum or something like that. So I'll put that at the end of the live stream, that type of stuff. Maybe that's a good idea. Yeah. And I also didn't put a heck of a lot on the situation map. The weird thing was, in an inadvertent way, I didn't realize when I was doing the setting up that map for the Second Battle of Ypres and Artois to look at the scenario for the Weltkrieg, I was like, oh my gosh, there's the front lines sitting right there. So if I could I'll just take a picture and leave it there. And I'm wondering, you know, and I'll use that and maybe try to manipulate, move it around a little bit later. Also, the fact that it is at 100% scale map, not the 75% one over here right on the wall. So that obviously shows up a heck of a lot nicer, which would be nice. Yeah, I'll kind of quickly go through the political stuff because I'd like to get maybe more into the graphic stuff and take a look at some stuff. Also, Meandering Mike, remember you were mentioning to me last week about the copyright stuff, and that I was a little worried about. You know, I don't want to cause grief for the people that you know, did all the work. So I've been hopefully I wouldn't really call it a watermark because I'm not putting it over the stuff, but I actually did start cutting and pasting the titles and the authors and stuff and inserting them into the maps and so on and so forth, like you'll see later. So hopefully that kind of helps, or at least shows people where I'm getting the information from, as well as I'm also hopefully getting better, adding the links and the sources in the description of the live stream. So afterwards, if you want to take a look and go, okay, what was this person talking about regarding, you know, Poetry Month or so on and so forth, or, you know, you can go there and hopefully find a bit more information, I hope. All right. I was going to say, I'm not doing the Africa one yet, so I'll take a quickie look. Yeah, some of this, it's just more the political stuff that I won't really, I wanted to, well, you're not going to look at the map, but I wanted to make sure that I took a look at, see if there's anything. Oh yeah, this week was the week that the Austrian government, I guess, said no to the Italian counter offer or whatever when they went to like really hammer in, are you guys going to really help us out now and not like just stay neutral-ish? And then I think the week previous or whatever, the Italians had come you know, had a massive counter offer saying, no, we want this huge stream of like extra territory and so on and so forth. Anyways, the Austrians have balked at this week and said no. So I thought that was kind of neat because we know what's about to start happening. They're going to, And I think it's already, they were secretly already talking to the Entente about it. So it was almost like a, whatever. That was it. No, except that it is at now at the beginning. You can, I think I had mentioned it previously with Dirk D. Gorizia. Nope, but you get a point. And so it's a person. I'm looking for a person, but no, that's not. Nope. Oh, I'll give you another clue here. Mangal Padney was a sepoy, but he was anti-British. Meandering Mike mentions that. William Arends. You got it! Wow! Holy smokes, William Arends. I am absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. Holy smokes. Kudadad Khan. Yep, you did it, man. Holy Jesus. Jumping. I did not expect that at all. Holy smokes. Well, we're going to blow away all... Wow. That was... Okay, I'm going to have to share the picture. Hold on. That was unexpected. Holy moly. Well done. Wow. Yeah, I'll show you the... Jesus. Holy Moses. Okay, hold on here. I'm going to share it. That was stunning. Well, at least for me, I don't know. I was, the weird thing was, William Arends, I was thinking about this because remember, I randomly pick each week the card that we're going to, I'll present it now. Share the screen. And please let me know if it's not big enough or, that type of stuff. All right. Hide. And I'll go to the, so you can see. So goody. And then I'm going to make sure that you see everything. You don't need to see me. There we go. And Dirk D says, I was commenting on the Italian-Austro-Hungarian relationship. Oh, sorry. Well, anyways, you still get a point. Because I didn't know. So I guess, oh my gosh. And as well, thanks, Dirk D, for mentioning this because we'll get back to the Kudadad Khan here. What I was, okay, and we'll, yes, we will. Was that this week there was actually some action I noticed in the chronology book that there was some action along the Austrian-Italian border between some of the troops. I don't think it was sanctioned or any of that stuff, but it's interesting that there's already a little bit of going on kind of thing. Anyways, yeah, the weird thing was, William Arends, that I thought when I randomly picked this card, I was thinking, oh boy, this is a toughie. And I was thinking in my head, it's like, well, you never know that. There's just some people there that, have more knowledge about certain things, and they just may, to them, it'll be like, oh yeah, it's Kudadad Khan. Well, there you go. Well done. Holy smokes. That was impressive. I'm just absolutely blown away. Okay. Oh, well, hopefully you guys can see all the, or some of the people that can't see that well, I'll read it out. I was the first South Asian soldier to be awarded the Victoria Cross in 1914. 20,000 of us South Asian soldiers arrived in France in 1914 to help the Allies. I served as a machine gunner and helped to stop the Germans capturing 2 key ports. All my machine gun crew were killed except me. Shot, I played dead until I could escape. And my crew and I were outnumbered by the Germans 5-1. And the Joker fact is my statue stands outside the Pakistan Army Museum in, I won't be able to pronounce that properly, Rawalpindi. Wow, William Arends, like I said, impressive. I'm just absolutely didn't expect that. Okay, so that was, well, you just chopped off a huge amount of time for the live stream. Thank you. Oh, God. Okay, so let's get to the Atlas map, and that way because I really want to start. I really would like to talk about. We'll super duper quick about the. Hold on here, I've got to share the map, the things again. I'm going to live stream. Situ Atlas map. We'll go to there first. Okay, and I'll go back to this. And I'm going to present, share screen, the window, and there we go. So this is and you can see at the very bottom, hopefully let me know if it's too small or whatever. I don't know if, what you guys, if you find that too tiny, I'll make it bigger if I can. And then I'll just scroll up or something. Or I don't, yeah, hopefully that helps. I don't know if it is there. Anyways, this is map 2 of, as you can see at the very bottom there, I put in the First World War Atlas by Martin Gilbert. This is the second one we're going to be doing. Germany's growing isolation, 1887 to 1914. And for people that really can't see, it's just it's got a big black line all along. You know, basically keeping. Well, it says countries friendly to Germany in 1887 as a result of Bismarck's treaties and alliances. And you can see there's quite a bit there. I mean, Russia's included and all kinds of things. And then it says after Bismarck's dismissal in 1890, Kaiser Wilhelm II renounced the reinsurance treaty with Russia. As a result, Russia turned towards France, with whom she allied in 1894. And Germany's only firm ally by 1914 was Austria-Hungary. It was Austria's quarrels with all its neighbors except Germany, which helped ensure Germany's growing isolation between 1887 and 1914. That's got a big box for Britain. It says, despite Britain's many trade links with Germany and the Kaiser's devotion to his aunt, Queen Victoria, the good relations established by Bismarck in the 1870s and 1880s had cooled by 1900. And between 1900 and 1907, Britain gravitated towards France and Russia. From 1908 to 1914, Britain and France consulted over military and naval matters. And it says France, the only European country hostile to Germany in 1887. By 1914, every shaded country on this map had quarreled with Germany or with their close ally Austria. Italy, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, it says countries whose independence had been assured by Bismarck and Disraeli in 1878, but who were increasingly suspicious of Austrian designs towards them by 1914. Countries allied to Germany 1887 and 1914, but by 1914 extremely hostile towards Germany, towards Germany's principal ally, Austria. So there you go. I'm going to hold on and see if we can, if it doesn't screw this up, because I want to start getting into the quickie situation maps. Nope, that's not it. Is it the pics? There we go. All right, so what do I want to go to the African one first? Yeah, all right. Let's see if you guys can see that. I've got to make sure I get to the comments. Sorry, Meandering Mike says, if you remove the banner at the bottom, we can read the bottom of the map better. Okay, sorry. Oh, darn it. Thank you. I forgot to get rid of that. Thank you. Cancel. Almost got rid of the live stream. Goodness gracious. There. All right. How's that? And, you know, goody. You can see that. So that I just wanted to show you guys the just the overall context of everything that I wanted to show here. So I'm going to make it up a bit more. So there you can see Togoland over there, where we were talking about last week. The Cameroons we'll quickly talk about here. I've got a closer up shot, and then right over there is Southwest Africa with the Unionist forces that ended up taking over here. I'll get here. We'll get to a better, hopefully, close up shot. So there. That happened this week in 1915. Unionist forces were able to advance up towards here and take Keetmanshoop. Then we're going to go towards here. So here's the Cameroons area, and you can see Nigeria. And yet again, I didn't do a very good job, guys. I'll be honest with you this week. Meandering Mike says, thanks. You're very welcome. I did not do a very good job this week. I think I really got into the Second Battle of Ypres and Artois, actually, with the, I'll pop on my little, whatever. I think that's all right. There we go. So I didn't screw up the map too much. You can see what the heck, whatever. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff is cloudy in my head. All I know is this campaign certainly did not start off in the Cameroons, did not start off nowhere near as successful as the one in Togoland. From what I know, from what I've read, Nigeria was administered separately I guess, two mini colonies, northern and southern Nigeria, and they were not well coordinated, especially militarily. Who was the? Let's see if I can find his name. The general. He was in England at the time. That I think was. He ends up taking control of the area, and of course, you guys know. I know seem to know a heck of a lot more about this than I do, which is wonderful. So please chime in for goodness sakes. General Dobell. So he was in England at the time, and I think from what I know, from what I've been reading, they said right now don't do any offensive into the Cameroons. The French did manage to take. They did manage a beachhead. Where the heck was it? They invaded the Cameroons before the British and did make gains by achieving their objectives. But the author, remember, I'm getting this information from Byron Farwell from the book The Great War in Africa, and I've got the link down there. He says their objectives were more political in nature, but they still achieved them. Anyways, the British went in 3 columns, even though supposedly, like I said, they were not supposed to, and it was kind of like frowned upon. It was Lieutenant, who was the guy that got sacked for this? Colonel Carter. They had 3 columns. All 3 were a disaster. The worst one was the southern one, going towards some town along the coast, and somewhere around here, and yes, it was around here to take that area and then go up. Let's see if I can find the. No, it's just not a great spot. Nope, it's not that one. But somewhere around that area, anyways, it was an absolute disaster. All 3 were the Germans supposedly were far more even though they were outnumbered compared to the British. They were far more well trained than the British forces. Eventually, General Dobell and whatnot, with a coordinated naval attack, they eventually were able to secure a bridgehead somewhere around here, and over the next few months start making gains. But at the beginning, when the disaster happened, they were actually scared to death that the Germans could start mounting a counter attack or something, or a counteroffensive towards Calabar and take this whole area in Nigeria. It didn't happen. Meandering Mike says, it looks like Nigeria didn't gain independence from British rule until 1960. Holy smokes. I know lots of places like that, like even Uganda and so on and so forth. If you look at, you can watch their Independence Day celebrations in full color and whatnot on, because you're filmed and whatever, and it's like extremely recent. It's just incredible. Or look, even for example, Newfoundland and Labrador. I mean, during World War I, they were not considered part of Canada proper. Okay, now we're going to go to the biggie. I hope you guys consider it the biggie, and that's the Second Battle of Ypres and Artois. I'll try to, like I said, connect the dots here. Here, I'll put it on to the boink. So yeah, this is the one you guys saw in some of my posts, if you guys follow them. So that's, you can see, hopefully, I just wanted to show you the full-on map. I'm going to get rid of myself here, so just to make it a bit, And please let me know if it's too small or whatever. I'll try to, I did do different pictures, so we'll go into this. See if I'll try not to use my notes. So, what do I know about the Second Battle of Ypres and Artois? So, what I found, I think I was mentioning it to you guys last week with the live stream, was I found it a bit interesting that the Germans were complaining that the British had used gas in a previous attack. I'm not sure if it was the Battle of Neuve Chapelle, or it could have been the Battle of Hill 60, where I think the British were for the first time used mines underneath German entrenched positions or whatever. The Germans accused them of using gas, which I found, like I said, I thought this is interesting about political posturing, because all of a sudden, magically, a week later, this is the time when the Germans used nearly 170 tons of chlorine gas in the Battle of Ypres, and also with a new delivery system of these canisters that were like, put in at an interesting angle. It's a really kind of an interesting looking thing. But anyways, so I just found that interesting that, yeah, okay, magically you guys all of a sudden had 170 tons of chlorine gas, ready to go. I mean, I just think it's one of those things where, we try to, I guess, look at it, shift the blame on the other side. They did it first, and we can, even though you're obviously ready to go. So here I'll show you a bit more of the close-up shot. Oh, sorry. So that's just the front. So I got rid of all the bits. Like I said, I think it's kind of neat that inadvertently here I am. I wanted to always have the fronts put on the situation maps, and here I was putting this for the Der Weltkrieg scenario, and there it is. So I thought that was kind of nice. So what else? So it was an offensive that was done by the Germans. It was, from what I know, kind of a two-pronged thing in the sense that they wanted to mask or divert attention away from the fact that they were sending lots of troops to the Eastern Front in preparation for the Görlitz-Tarnów breakthrough, which is going to happen in May, or the Great Retreat, as other people would call it. And as well as they did want to try out this gas to see if it would work. So here, we're going to get to the close-up shot. So there we are. So there's Ypres for close-up shot on the Der Weltkrieg map. So you can see, if we go back again, it's just way up over here. So that's quite a, this is, as you can see, it's a huge amount of space that the game is using. But because that's, yet again, that's why I wanted to start talking to you guys about this, is that, this is just due to the scale of the game. You can't possibly, so what do you do about that? And if you go also to here, there, you can see, so this is from, well, you can see Crowns in the Gutter. I scanned in from my book and then popped it in so you guys know where it's from, and you can see that I'm not like trying to be some copyright freak or whatever. So that's it. This is what Ted Racer's map shows you, is just the size of the Second Battle of Ypres. So obviously, I don't know what's after here. So that, oh yeah, this we'll talk about it in a second. So you can see what I mean. That's way up here. So that's pretty, I'm just going to take a look. I haven't looked at the comments in a while. Sorry. Meandering Mike says, Ypres in 1915, first use of chlorine gas. Ypres in 1917, first use of mustard gas, I think. Oh my God. What a horrible place to be. On a side note, I just started watching, which I thought was kind of neat. Last night on Tubi was, who had suggested it, actually, Peter, one of my colleagues from Belgium, who got me to pronounce Ypres properly. He suggested I should watch the Wipers Papers, which is their, I guess the British, that's the way they used to, a slang form for Ypres, the way they would say it. And so I thought that was interesting. Here I am watching that last night, and it's in Ypres. We're about to talk about the Second Battle of Ypres, as well as, that's why I popped it on today's for World War I image of the day, was the fact that Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae penned the poem In Flanders Fields based on his experiences from the Second Battle of Ypres in a field hospital dealing with the injured that were coming back from that battle. So I thought, wow, this is so neat that it's all these connections. I'll get to my notes for the Second Battle of Ypres for the scenario, because that's what I really wanted to get into and start talking to you guys about. It's also the differences for what I'm not used to for Der Weltkrieg, in the sense that it's there's some really interesting setup stuff here. So we'll get back to here. So here's that little bit at that bottom, the bottom right, which I wanted to just do a little close-up bit to also show you that it's from all the way down to from Strasbourg to Bern. So this spot, this is part of the setup. I'll go back to a bigger shot of the maps, so there, that way you guys can see. So just to let you guys know, yeah, I don't have to actually, hold on. I can go back. I don't really need to, there. Please let me know if you guys are like want to see something else or whatever. Let me know what's going on here. So for the Der Weltkrieg scenario, it lasts 13 turns, and some of the restrictions, which I found interesting, as you go way up here, you can see this Belgian guy. Let me know if you want me to pop it up here. I'll make it maybe a bit bigger. And I'll get back so I can see what the heck you guys are looking at. There we go. Meandering Mike says, speaking of World War I and Poetry Month, I need to dig out my Siegfried Sasson and Wilfred Owen books. I've not heard of either of those people. Charles Latora says, something political. British Parliament passed on January 6, 1916, the Compulsory Military Service Bill. 1916. Till then, they were working with volunteers. I know, Charles Latora. And thank you for mentioning that. To share it, because it was amazing that eventually they did have to start, after a lot of coaxing and whatnot, okay, let's get going. Yeah. Also, on a side note, and here I am thinking William Arends is automatically Canadian because, like I said, he's living in Kitchener. I was just about to say, well, of course, William Arends would know, but and he may not, is the fact that there was a very big, you can see in the recruitment rate for volunteers in Canada, there's a big difference between English and French Canadian, because obviously a lot of the French Canadians, I would, you know what I mean, don't associate so much towards, well, at that point, the king, towards, they would, let's say, towards France. That type of things. It's interesting. Anyways, up here right over here, so some of the restrictions when you do go to set up the, if you were playing the scenario, and also later on when you are playing the game, is the Belgian units up here are not allowed to attack. They're allowed to counterattack, but as the Entente player, you could never use these guys as an offensive force. Also, from what I've been reading in the setup notes, is that when you go as the Entente player, all the Belgian units in this this is considered the Belgian frontline sector, all the Belgian units have to be in this hex or a hex adjacent to it, or in a hex on or adjacent to one of their army headquarters. The same as the British frontline units. And you're not allowed to, and also you're not allowed to put French units into here, and you're not allowed to put Belgian units into there, as far as I know, from what I've been reading. What else did I also know? And that was the hex row south of that. I put all those little ones over here off to the side that you guys saw. Here, I just gotta get rid over here. So these guys over here, that was that bit. This bit here is just saying when you go to do the setup for both sides, that neither side are allowed to have more than one division, and they're not allowed to have any artillery in the setup. It doesn't say afterwards. So as far as I know, you could go nuts if you wanted to afterwards. What else did it also mention? There's certainly different victory conditions. For Germany, it was you get a decisive victory if the Entente suffers 149 more demoralization points, a substantial one if they suffer 100 to 149, and a marginal if it's 50 to 99, and the Entente, if Germany suffers greater than 29 than they do, substantial if Germany suffers 1 to 29, and marginal if the Entente themselves suffer 0 to 29 demoralization points. Also, the fortresses are, you have to change up the fortresses a bit. So any of the fortresses that were, that are behind, that originally obviously were on your line and they're now behind whatever, you'd have to look up at the initial setup, I guess. They're no longer in existence. And I'm not going to go through all the restrictions, but it's neat. And he also, William Arends mentions French Canadians felt alienated towards the British and abandoned by the French in the World Wars. Quebec wanted to be a North American Switzerland. Interesting. I never thought of it that way about the North American Switzerland. Cool. I obviously knew about the other bits because I certainly get, especially where I live. It is. I'll take a video once. Actually, yeah, you'd just be amazed at how much French Canadian is around here. It's just massive. I never thought about it that way, about the North American Switzerland thing. Neat. Yeah, I have to look that up more. And if you know a bit more, please, William Arends, or a link or something for that. I'd love to, like I said, I'd like to look that up, because that's, I never thought, like, that's a whole, a little interesting little wrinkle. So for the fortresses, you would also have to start, I guess, based on, to try to reflect what's been going on up to that point in 1915, is you have to start reducing some of the strength points for a lot of the fortresses, and it's based on where they are. So I can't remember exactly, but if they're along the front line, it may be 1/2 of all their strength points are removed, 1/4, and so on and so forth. And of course, I think also that's reflective of what we were seeing in, at least in my game, in the Eastern Front, at the beginning of November 1914, when, and historically it happened as well, the Germans started stripping their garrisons, the fortresses there of the garrisons, and bringing those guys up to the front lines to bolster their troops. Well, so that could also be an indication that Dave Schroeder is showing you that historically, by saying, okay, some of these fortresses no longer have nowhere near the strength points they did at the very beginning of the war, which I think is nice. Also, yet again, which I think is an interesting wrinkle that I'm not used to seeing, because I've only been playing the game from, I've never played a scenario like in mid-war, or like, I've just played it from the very beginning, is the setups for the units are also slightly different. So not only, so the Entente, let's see if I better make sure I get this right. Because which one goes first? I think the Entente sets up first, if I remember correctly, and then, but the Entente is allowed to reserve, I think, up to 10 divisions and put them aside, and allowed to place them afterwards, after the German forces have set up. So I thought that was kind of neat. Also, both sides also have to remove, it's a little different for each. I think it's for 3. Well, the Belgians don't have to reduce any of their strength points, but the British would have to reduce some of their strength points. So you're, as a player, are allowed to decide, okay, I've got to reduce, let's say, 50 strength points from my army, and you're allowed to decide how you're going to do that. The French, same thing. I think it's something like 130, and the Germans have to do that as well. So I think that's kind of nice that you have some flexibility, as well as Dave Schroeder has it in the setup that an additional bit of flexibility is that you get to portion out the supply points for each army. So if you did, for example, in this game, wanted to load up, let's say you didn't want to go historically, and you didn't want to actually really focus on the Battle of Ypres over here, you could decide, I'm going to not be historical because I want to get points due to the fact that, this is the other beautiful thing about this for the victory conditions. Not only is it the normal demoralization points that you incur from, losing units in combat and urban hexes like your cities, you also, as a player, will take on demoralization points for every hex. So all these front lines, all are entrenched, both sides, except for, unless the terrain restricts them. I don't think it does. Maybe down there we would take a look in the mountains. But, so let's say this German guy here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but let's say any of the hexes that are starting off entrenched along the front line here, if they're taken by the enemy by the end of the game, you take on 20 demoralization points. William Arends, Pierre Trudeau was one of the Quebecois who chose not to volunteer in World War II and was not conscripted, a real example of Quebec non-belligerence in the World Wars. Thanks, William Arends. I had no idea Pierre Trudeau did that. No idea whatsoever. Holy, wow, thanks, man. You seem to know more than I do, man. That's awesome. I'm the freaking Canadian, for crying out loud. What else did I also want to talk about? Gosh, you know what? I don't think we're going to get to Calandale. Like I said, I don't want to diss Calandale. I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to do disrespect him. I want to make sure that he gets and it's a 22-minute long video. I'm just going to have to pop it in next week or something like that. Oh yeah, it was about the gas bit, the gas markers, and yet again, I do want to talk to you guys about the map scale and seeing what you guys think about this. So historically, the gas worked really, really well at the very beginning. It knocked out a huge swath of the Algerian troops on the left side of the Canadians, I do believe. Massive gap opened up, and the Canadians stemmed the tide over the next 4 days, from what I know, until reinforcements arrived. It took massive casualties, as we know. But 2 days later, within those 4 days, the Germans launched another gas attack. Wasn't as effective, still was, but what I thought interesting is, and I would like to read it out if I can find it. I don't know if I have it. The Weltkrieg rules. Maybe I won't read it. I'll just try to paraphrase or whatever it is. Is that he said, you know, look, you've got to look at it that eventually the gas attacks were not as effective as everybody thought they would have. It was more of the terror, if anything, or mustard gas was, god awful beyond belief, just from the long lingering injuries from what I've been reading. And I was looking at it at first, I was like, oh, he only gives you one gas canister in this scenario. And you're allowed to use it within any time in the scenario. So you don't have to use it right off the bat. If you were the German player, you wouldn't have to use it in Ypres. Like I said, you could be a sneaky devil and maybe try to figure out, okay, I'm going to get all my troops and everybody ready to rail as much as I can towards, let's get towards that spot so I can show it to you. This spot here. Let's say you wanted to get and try to figure out a way of getting as many troops towards Strasbourg and Mulhouse and whatnot, and and take some areas there. I don't know. That's a possibility. So you only get one shot with the gas, which I thought was kind of neat. And at first I was like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. But then I was like, wait a minute. Yes, because in Der Weltkrieg, each turn is about 4 days. So that kind of makes sense. This is what I wanted to go to about the map scale. So like I said, in Der Weltkrieg, the map scale is 20 kilometers. Each hex is 20 kilometers. And when I was looking at that map here, if we go to it again, you can see here, there's the scale. And if you, like I measured out the length and the width of that little box, and it comes out to about 15 miles by 22 miles. So let's convert that into metric. And that's 24 kilometers by 35 kilometers. And that comes out to about 1.2 hexes by 1.75 hexes. That's the entire historical battle there, which I thought, yet again. So how, obviously, the Der Weltkrieg map is not made to to do that, but I would certainly love to see, especially when I found out about this whole little thing about Kitchener's Wood and that type of stuff. To me, I don't know, like I just was like, gosh, that sounds like something like I would see a game like coming from like Legion War Games or Revolution game, that type of game publisher that I think would do something, that type of scale or whatever, if that makes any sense. You know what, guys? We're almost there. About 10 minutes left. I'm not going to obviously get to talking here. I'll pop me back to whatever until I can take a look and see some of my notes. So what's been going on? You guys do some chit chat while I look at my notes and see if there's. I'm sure there's things I've forgotten to talk about. Oh yes, the Habsburg report. It's something I would love to bring into. I think I may have to pop that in as a community tab thing. I mean, let's be honest. There are 4 trillion things that I have not that I start and just never complete, for crying out loud. What do I have written down here? Yeah, I mean, I still want to get to the Caporetto thing. I'm doing better because we only got 27 days left here, guys, till can games. I'm getting better, but I still got to finish up the Spence and Gable Tannenberg counters. But I need to do a proper playthrough. That's for crying out loud. And I would like to have some kind of interaction. I think it's mostly, I'll be honest with you, it's probably Meandering Mike due to the fact that yeah, because he's got the game and he was already thinking about doing a playthrough. So I'm going to need some kind of just to make sure that okay, you got it or you don't got it or whatever. I also still want to talk about the Battle of Kolab. Oh, darn it! I'm so glad I brought looked at the things bit. One which I thought was kind of neat. We've took a look at it before. I was saying, boy, wouldn't this be kind of maybe a neat little, really mini scenario to bring up? Dave Schroeder mentions it in the Ottoman Front module, Osmanli Harbi module, that if you wanted to just about the Albanian front, and then he was saying the Albanian front is like a side note kind of thing, and it's really tiny, and he's like, if you want to do it, you should incorporate it, with a much bigger scenario type of a thing. But I was looking at it, and I was thinking, wait a minute, this could actually, for a variety of reasons, it is really, really small. That would be perfect for an interactive live stream thing to do ongoing. Because I'll just ask you guys a couple of things. Like, I'm talking, it is ridiculously small. Like, as you can see, I think the opening setup is the Italians, the various forces just have one hex each. I mean, they got various troops in there, but it's not like it's a big logistical nightmare. It's not like I'm asking you and I to make decisions about the Gorlitsa Tarnów breakthrough, where there's like a bazillion units. I mean, my God. That's not going to happen. So I thought, hey, this would be kind of neat to have some kind of ongoing week-to-week thing where I could talk with you guys and say, okay, what should we do with this? Like, this is whatever. Should the Entente move this way or that way or whatever? Like I said, really tiny forces. Secondly, every single nation that you guys have, for example, Meandering Mike picked Albania. Darn it, I forgot to talk about it. This happened this week, actually. Some Albanian rebels attacked the city Durazzo. Meandering Mike, Albanian front, roll 1d6, you wins, done. I know, we got one. Let me take a look, though, please. But you're right, it's going to be, it is tiny, tiny, tiny. But anyways, yeah, so this week, Albanian rebels were attacking their former capital. Which I thought was kind of fascinating. You can just see what a crazy show that must be going on there. So all you guys have picked a country that are involved in it. William Arends has Greece. Charles Latora has Italy. Meandering Mike has Albania. We still need two more people. Who knows? Dirk, for goodness sakes, if you're still there, snag Romania or Bulgaria, for God's sakes. That would help. So I thought that would be kind of neat. I'll take a look a bit more, but I didn't want to look at it too much. I don't know about you guys, but like even there was that one. I was like, look, I have to shut down my brain. I'm like, I can't. It's like, no, you have to just focus on what's been going on, like to prepare for the live stream, and don't add on extra whatever, because you're just going to clutter your head. But now it's like, okay, that's over. I can it's uncluttered kind of thing, if you want to look at it that way. Oh, darn it, Calandale. I feel bad. Well, in a weird way, maybe it not. It's kind of like, maybe it'll be like, I should add that to the Habsburg report thing. It'll never be finished. It'll be like you're getting down to 8-7-6 and like, whatever. But, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I don't think I have much left to say, guys. 27 days left to Can Games. Oh, Dirk D says most of this is over at my head, especially at midnight. Sorry. Well, it's mostly over my head as well, man. I'm just pretending. Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, my friend. Oh, what else can what can I say? It's been, I think I'm just going to take it easy today. I've been trying to get a lot of sleepy type stuff, rest, but I do want to, do a pocket battles, at least set up and quick explanation of the rules and get that video done. That would be kind of nice. I have not even bothered looking at my mini game this week, which just sucks. But I do, on a side note, Meandering Mike says, where are you located at, Kirk? Oh, Dirk D. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Oh, what was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say anymore. Not really. The mini game. Oh, about the second battle of Ypres. I'd like to go back onto BGG and see if there's, like I said, if there's any different scaled games that are focused on that, especially when I found out about Kitchener's Wood and whatnot. Of course, I'm sure I'm just like everybody else as well. There's a part of the mini game designer in me goes, oh my god, maybe somebody's not done a game on Kitchener's Wood. Maybe I can do a little, whatever. It's like, oh good, yep. Off you go, little delusional man. Go off and do your thing. Dirk D says, how about intuition in games? Are war games made for history buffs or fun gaming? And Dirk D says, Victoria, Australia, to Meandering Mike. Oh boy, Dirk D. That is a lovely stuff to, I wish we could yabber on about it more, and let's do it maybe next live stream or whatever, or we'll start engaging. So we got 4 minutes left, darn it. Yeah, that's, you were mentioned that also in a previous comment on one of my videos about, I can't remember the show you were listening to or if it was a podcast or whatnot, about talking about is wargaming morally good or something like that or whatever and all that stuff. And are war games made for history buffs or for fun gaming? I don't know what other people think. I'm going to let other people insert into there. What else? About game design. Dirk D says about game design. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Oh, on a side note as well, Meandering Mike, I did check into it. Oh gosh. The Can Games thing does have, it seems like every single day and in multiple time slots. If you are a game designer or want to discuss game design, there will be sessions throughout all of Can Games. So that's interesting. I would like to at least step in and just see what other people are yabbering about. I may not like engage or whatever. Charles Latora says, my world history book, as far as I can tell, only has one small paragraph on World War I in the Pacific. And Charles Latora, you know what? On a side note that you mentioned that, I was absolutely dumbfounded. My Western Front books, the big collection that I got there from the used bookstore at the World War I Museum, has absolutely all about the Second Battle of Ypres. I was like, what? You've got to be joking. First use of chlorine gas and you're not even talking about it? Will Marin says, cool weather has returned to Ontario. I'm still waiting the coming of the real warmth in May. And Dirk D says, apparently emergent strategy outweighs multiple phases. Something like that. Emergent strategy outweighs some. Oh gosh, you're on another. This is probably something that Meandering Mike could help you out with. I certainly can't. That's for bloody sure. But someday maybe. Yeah, he's got a lot more game design or a lot more game knowledge than I do. That's for sure. So what else, guys? I don't know what else to say today. Oh, I'm really absolutely stunned that we never got to the Calandale thing. I didn't expect that. But like I was saying, Charles, Latora, and you're right. There's too much information trying to be squeezed into 1 hour, especially the way I just never shut up. Um, and so, but yet again, when the Calandale playthroughs do end, there's going to be a massive gap. And if I can maybe structure my yabbering a bit better, things can get done a bit. If I can compartmentalize or something, but I'm still whatever. And yet, like I said, I'll try to maybe offload some of the stuff that I would like to talk about in the live stream that maybe could better facilitated or accommodated in the community tab. Dirk D says, all I know is Zombicide was more fun than Tannenberg. Oh my God, you want to talk about Zombicide then? You should be going tonight, or which would be morning for you, or at least on the Wednesday mornings for you, Thursday mornings if it's possible for you. The Not J live stream show, they'll be on tonight at 11 in the morning your time. And one of the mini warm-up is a Zombicide fanatic. Meandering Mike says, yep, you're the host, so we expect you to yammer. Oh, okay, thanks, Meandering Mike. Good then. Okay, then I will unleash my verbal hounds then. So please, Dirt D, I'll try to I'll pop it in somewhere. But oh my gosh, if you're into Zombicide and whatnot, they even did a live stream Zombicide game that was quite interesting, especially with some of the. I think it was Hissy Cat made some crazy move with one of his little dudes. But this is the type of stuff you want to watch when you're doing a watching other people's live streams. But they are way into Zombicide and whatnot using. I don't know if Zombicide is connected. I don't. These guys know. Charles Latora, Meandering Mike know way more about it than I do. The Fistful of Lead rules. So I don't know, Dirk D, if that's connected with it, but they seem to be playing Zombicide with the Fistful of Lead rules, if that's the case, or maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick. I don't know. But Dirk D, if you're into that, holy F, you seriously need to go and take a look at Mini Warmutt's channel, as well as Not Jay's channel, and Hissy Cat's Studios, and his Hissy Cat builds, whatever. So I'll pop them on there. Okay, guys, it's a little after 10 o'clock. Willie Mayer says, the less active war theaters such as the Pacific and Africa in World War I are more interesting in how they foreshadow what happened between the wars and in World War II. And Willie Marin's, man, like I said, you guys know so much, man. It's that's why God, I can't wait. And right now, I feel like I'm just teasing little bits of information out of you guys because you don't have your own show or whatever. I have to figure out or invite you guys on. That's what I need to do. If there's any of you guys that are not so camera, look, man, I'm camera averse. I don't like having my whatever's on here. But so if there's anybody ever actually, wanted to pop on and talk about something, go, you know what, I think I could actually add some good information to here, or correct you, Chris, because you're telling people stuff that is not right, that type of stuff. William Arends, you're right. These are things that I would love to find out a bit more about, is the connection with Japan and Great Britain, and how that fell apart, or seems to have fallen apart because of what was going on with the United States. Rob, my gaming buddy, who should be popping over in tomorrow because we're now shifting it over onto Sundays due to the fact that it's just going to work out better. He seems to know quite a bit about that World War II in the Pacific, and he was saying that it seemed inevitable even way before, like even in World War I. He was saying that it looked like it was inevitable that the United States and Japan would have to, if they weren't going to do early conflict resolution, they were going to end up going to war eventually. Yeah, all this stuff I don't know about. And the Pacific and African World War I. Yeah. And yet again, thank you, Charles Latora, like I said way back when, for bringing this up and getting the ball rolling for trying to find out more about Africa, because it was you that got me to get to buy the book, The Great War in Africa, and thank God all the chapters, because I've checked the book, all the chapters are really tiny, so I should be able to focus and do one chapter a week and be able to, and to, you know, present whatever the heck I figured out. Dirk D says, however, Gilbert Collins got me interested. A most fearful sacrifice. Looks very good with interesting mechanics. Dirk D, yes, I actually have the print and play version of that because I certainly could not afford getting it over to my house here with whatever. And speaking of Gilbert Collins, Dirk D, I know that you had mentioned about the you were like into American history and with Mr. Madison's War. Yes, Gilbert Collins is well, a member of the Ottawa Wargamers Club, and he's a massive regular participant and provider, like a content provider, because he runs games at Can Games. Been doing it for years and years and years. And I know for a fact he's doing two. He's doing Trafalgar on Saturday. Usually he does his spaghetti western miniatures as well, and usually he does another game on Sunday. And I was kind of hoping he was going to be doing his U-boat, maybe a U-boat playthrough thing of his upcoming Compass one. That would have been nice to see. All right, people, I'm going to zip off into Wonderland and just kind of like shift. That's weird. I will say this. Oh, Charles Latora says, our resident zombicide expert, Mini Ward Mutt Chow. Bingo bongo. And like I said, I'll pop in the things. It's weird, guys. Charles Latora says, there is one game by Hollandspiel which covers Japan versus Germans in World War I. Game title eludes my old brain right now. Really, eh? Interesting. What the hell? Well, let's hold on. Let's find out. We can do anything we want, can't we? All right, let's go to Hollandspiel. Publishers. And you're up to here. And of course, Meandering Mike may know. He's really into, he really seems to know his... Okay, they have Brave Little Belgium, At All Costs, The Great War in the East. Oh, sorry guys, I'm not showing you the... I'll stop the screen. Present. Share screen. There. Ah! You little bugger! Meandering Mike gets it as soon as I see the picture! And there we are. Yeah, Empire. Hopefully you guys can see that. Empire at Sunrise. Thanks, Meandering Mike. I knew it, man. I knew it. Designer John Gorgowski. And thank you, Charles Latora, for mentioning it as well. Map art, Jose Ramon Fora. And all as the guns of August were heard firing across Europe, the German, forget it, I'm not going to say that, Kaiserlich, no, forget it, began commerce raiding in the Pacific, targeting British shipping and colonial holdings to reduce their economic ability to fight on the continent. The Empire of Japan, eager to emerge as a global power. Oh, wow. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh. Ah, those beautiful counters, eh? I know some people don't like them. I love them. That's not that bad of a price. And solitaire suitability is high. That sounds pretty nice. And Charles Latorre says, yes, thanks, Mike. Meandering Mike says, I am an addict. I have all the Hollandspiele games. I know, you little brat. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I'm glad we went on a little tiny bit longer because I wouldn't have found out about Empire at Sunrise. It's weird, eh? I just, I'm not a, what do you call it? I just assumed I'm not, into South Asian, like all that stuff. And yet it's like, well, maybe you should. You just went over, you just passed that off. As well, I shouldn't say that because I also am waiting for Legion War Games to finally release, oh, darn it, I can't remember the name of it. But it's the Russo-Japanese war. and it's at an operational scale. That just sounds super duper ultra exciting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to go and pick that up someday and see what it's like. Okay, thank you guys so much. It's weird because, like I said, I often feel like I'm. I could still be, but yet again, like you said before, William Arends last week. This is among friends, and I've got to remember that. I'm not perfect. I'm not some professional, whatever, and I'm gonna make bumble and stumble and a gazillion other things. But in the long run, it's all about just hanging out with you guys, and it's a wonderful time. And I thank you so much. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Just to let you guys, for some people that don't know what, unless the times have changed. Times have changed. So what? Saturday today at 4 p.m. Eastern is so that would be so that's the War Game channel out there. What's it called? The War Room live stream. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern time is I gotta start doing the GMT things. Dirk D says good night, folks. Yes, good sleep to you. And hopefully we'll see you at the Not Jay show in the morning for you. At 9 o'clock, and then was it Monday is Monday evening at 8 o'clock you've got the counter clipping show, and then Tuesday at 7:30 you've got the No Enemies Here. I don't know if it's actually, what's it called, everything you wanted to know about wargaming but were afraid to ask. What a great title. Meandering Mike says ciao y'all. Yeah, good night. Thank you guys everyone. See you. Bye. Let's get the hell out of here.